All right, folks. So as I told you, I was waiting for someone to someone's going to send me a copy of Module 2 for the Math SAT, and I was able to get a copy. And I'm able to, depending on timing, I'm always having some kind of conference or there's always something. But I'm going to try and get through this as much as I can. And everybody has been telling me, "Oh, wait till you get to Module 2. It's so hard." Well, let's have a look at it and give you my impression, and I will solve it. So what I need is, just in case, I need scrap paper, I need my pen. Um, they told me that calculators, it says use of a calculator is permitted for all questions. I'm just not in the habit of using calculators though. So if the numbers are too big, I will probably just break it down like how I would do it if I had a calculator, but I normally, I don't have time for those contraptions. So let's see what it looks like. All right, so what I'm seeing here, the first page here is it says it's 27 questions and they included for reference some formulas. Okay, so like the typical, okay, special cases of triangles. All right, so let's begin. I'm going to use red. Let's have a look and see how hard this really is. It says that they're mostly multiple choice and student produced response questions. So just like module 1 then. All right, so far. All right, question number, let me make this bigger just in case you all need to see it, on the screen. All right, question number 1. There are 55 students in a Spanish club. So I always, when I'm going through the questions, I always used to go through to the end and see what they are asking me. Which of the following is the best estimate of the total number of Spanish club students? Okay, so what did they give me here? Oh, they gave me a number, 55, and a percent. Okay, so anytime, listen to me on this, when you have a number and a percent, automatically multiply. Automatically multiply. You should know that 20%, I mean, you have a calculator, some of you, so you could do 20% times 55. I don't have a calculator though, so I'm going to change this to a fraction. All percents are written over 100 as a fraction. So this is 20 over 100. And of course, you should always reduce your fractions, right? I don't want to deal with 20 and 100 if I can reduce this. There's a common factor here of 20. 20 goes into 20 once, 20 goes into 100 5 times. So that's a fifth. So then all I have to do is 1/5 of 55, which gives me 55 over 5, which gives me 11. Answer choice A. All right, so that's not too bad, right? Anytime you get percent and number, just multiply them. And by the way, why did they say the best estimate then? This is an exact number, right? And it also says 20% of those, right? So it's not like, it's a poorly worded question in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. Number 2. So it says Jay walks at a speed of 3 miles per hour and runs at a speed of 5 miles per hour. He walks for W hours, runs for which equation represents this situation? Oh my, oh dear. Just translate it, seriously. 3 miles per hour. You have two situations here. 3 miles per hour, right? The walk. That's 3 times W. So it can't be B or C. And then it says he walks for W hours and runs for a combined total. The combined total is 14. So it can't be D. Answer choice A. Done. All right, number 3. Which of the following equations best represents the line of best fit shown? They're asking more and more about statistics. I've noticed that, which is kind of annoying to me as a mathematician. I'm not into statistics. I know how to do statistics, but it's those of you who know a little bit about mathematicians and math majors. I'm a pure mathematician, and I'm not really have no interest in this kind of. But I know why they're asking it. So let's see here. Well, the slope, right? The line is going up, right? I mean, so the slope is positive. So that means it's not C or D. And then it has to be, well, there are no intersects here that are the intercepts here form at a positive y value, right? So it can't be a negative y value. So it has to be, in this case, answer choice A, right? Because the slope, notice how all of the other ones have either a negative slope or a negative y value. So it has to be, the best choice here would have to be A. All right, so that takes care of that. Let's see what else they've got for us. Number 4. It says, okay, so they gave us a graph. The graph of y equals f of x is shown in the xy plane. And then it says, what is the value of f of 0? Oh my, just look at it. Oh dear. F of 0, x, that means when x is 0, right? And it goes up to 3. Just look at it. So answer choice D. By the way, I started this test at exactly 9:02 actually. So I'm just going to time myself and see how long it takes me to, as much as I can. I'm probably going to get some interruption. I'm going to try my best to get through it, but so far this is what it looks like. What else? What else? Number 5. Which expression is equivalent to, okay, so they're multiplying monomials here. This is multiplication of monomials. And they expect, okay, M, Q, and Z are positive. All right. And they expect us to make the equivalent of this. Okay, so what they're testing here is your laws of exponents. When you multiply exponents that have the same base, you add the exponents, right? So m goes to this. This is m to the 4th times on this one, right? Times this m to the 1, right? So that gives you m to the 5th. Oh, wow, are you serious? So that means C and D are done. That means it can't be A. So answer choice B. Q to the 4th goes to Q to the 5. That's just double check though, right? I mean, I find it hard to believe that it's so ridiculously easy, but 4 plus 5, 9. Okay, Q to the 9. Yeah. Z to the -1. -1 plus 3 is positive 2. So yeah, it has to be B. What a silly way to ask about. I mean, this is basic stuff. My 8th graders are doing this. 7th and 8th grade. Let's see what else. Number 6. What am I asking here? What is the median here? Okay, so when you have a median, you always should order your numbers from least to greatest. Oh, but they already did that for us here. 73, 74. Oh, all right, so it has to be, so the middle number, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so there's an odd number. We don't even have to add the 2 middle numbers, so it has to be 79. Number 7. Number 7. What is it asking me? X plus 40 equals, my screen now just for X plus 40 equals 95. Oh, wow. Well, it's just subtracting from 40 on both sides. 95 minus 40, and that gives me 55. If I work very fast, they'll always check me in case I miss anything. I'm a little bit, so far my impression is it's not very, it doesn't seem, so, I mean, the first page anyway, doesn't seem anything impressive to me. Number 8, 5x equals 15, and then the okay, so they're asking for the solutions of the system of equations. All right, but I mean, this is easy because they already gave you the first equation is 5x equals 15. So that means x is equal to 3. Right? And then we just substituted in the second equation, -4 multiplied by 3 plus y equals -2. And that gives me, well, -12 plus y, which is -2. And then I got to solve for, so -2 plus, I'm going to bring the positive 12 over. So y is equal to 10. Okay, so now I have x equals 3, y equals 10, 10 plus 3, 13. Done. All right. I mean, you don't need, sorry, no, it's messing up. from what I saw on the first page, you don't actually need a calculator so far. None of those problems should require a calculator. Number 9. All right, number 9. It says the given function g models the number. Okay, so they gave you some kind of linear equation here with a slope. They're asking how many gallons of gasoline are used to drive each mile. Well, that's easy. It has to be 0.05, right? Because you drive in miles, right? So you have to multiply it, which the only multiplication you have here is a 0.05. So A. All right, number 10. They're asking us, okay, so when you see something like this, I already know it's a proportion, right? And you know that the shortcut to proportions, even though it's not really, I'm not being mathematical here, but when you, for test taking purposes, you should always just cross multiply. And they want to, so they, but what they're looking for here is you're solving for x, right? So that's 1 times y, right? So if you cross multiply, you get 1 times y, which is just y. And then you get 11x. So that's going to be 11x over y. So you could do 1 over 7b, and then y over equals 11x. If I want to isolate x, right, I have to divide on both sides by 11. So that gets rid of that. And I'm left with 11 times 7, which is the 77. So the only possibility here is answer choice C. Right? That's the only way you could do this. And I mean, the easiest way. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, 11. The graphs of the given equations intersect. What is a possible value of x? Well, they already told you that y is 76, right? So that's 76 equals x squared minus 5. So we have so we're going to isolate. So if we add 5 on both sides, we get 76 plus 5. That's going to give me 81. 81 equals x squared. So we have to take the square root, which gives me plus or minus 9. The only choice here that we have is B. All right, number 12. It's telling you okay, so this is the x point and the y has to be, remember when you have coordinates, it's x and y, right? So the y is already, I know, is 53, right? Always with coordinates. So that means that 53 is greater than 14. So that means that if y is 53 in the second equation, I have 4x plus 53 is less than 18. If I divide, so I have 53, I'm going to take away 53 from both sides. So that's 4x plus 53 minus 53, and then I got to do 18. 18 minus 53. Let's see. So 18. That's going to give me check negative 35. That means it has to be less than negative 35. All right, so now I have on both sides, if I divide by both sides, negative 4, and that's going to give me 35 doesn't really go into 4, but the closest I can get to is, it's going to be less than 9, but a little bit above 8. So it has, I mean, it can't be 9. It can't be a positive number, right? So that's gone. And negative 5 doesn't make sense. So it should be negative 9 as an approximation, though. You'll probably get a decimal, though. But all right. So again, okay. Oh, wow. Look at number 13. Wow. They gave you a percent and a number. So if you're one of my students, you know this. When they give you, how many times do I have to say this? When they give you a percent, you multiply the percentage times the number. All right, so I don't have a calculator as usual, but if you have a calculator, it'll be so much faster. but basically it's 80 out of 100 because all percents are out of 100, but I can reduce this, thankfully. There's a common factor of 20, right? So if I use 20 as a common factor, 20 goes into 84 times, 20 goes into 105 times. So that's 4/5. That's 4/5 of 300, which gives me 300 times 4 is 1200, and 1200 divided by 5. Well, I know 200 times 5 is 1000. It's going to be, so it has to be 20 times 240, right? 240 times 5 is going to give me, because 2 times 5 is 10. And if I carry over the 20, that's going to, yeah, it's going to give me 1200 for sure, right? So 240. All right, next one. It says the function is f is defined by f of x equals 4x. What is the value, for what value of x does f of x equals it? For real? Seriously? So you just multiply it. What number? So 4x is the function equals 8. Well, obviously 4 times 2, x equals 2. How bad does math education have to be in our schools that this is the level of, like, I mean, I presume a lot of people who are taking this exam are, I know some people take it at younger ages, but a lot of the exams are taken by our seniors, seniors in high school. So, or maybe junior year. Sometimes I know you take it in junior year, but still, doesn't look very impressive so far. Number 15, which expression is equivalent to okay, so they gave you some kind of rational polynomial here. They're saying x is greater than 7. Well, that makes sense, right? Because if x were 7, you'd have 0 in the denominator. So that would be undefined. That's illegal. All right, so I know whenever I see parentheses like this, I know they're looking for some kind of factorization. So you have 8x. So on the bottom here, on the top, it looks like it's factored already. So on the bottom, it's 2. If we factor it, it's 2 parentheses x minus 7. And on the top, we have 8x parentheses x minus 7 minus 3 parentheses x minus 7. Well, I know that 8x over 2, right? It's 8x over 2, so of some kind, so it can't be A. It's definitely not C or D. There's no way, right? Because the reason why is because even though it's tempting to say 8x times x minus 7 gives you 8x squared, but you have all these common factors here of x minus 7. And because they're telling you 7 is greater, x is greater rather, that means you can actually divide each one. So this cancels, this cancels, this cancels, and you are left with 8x minus 3 on the top divided by 2, answer choice B. It has to be. But, all right, now number 16 rather. It says the slope of line P is defined by 2y plus 18. Okay, so I like, whenever I get an equation like this, I like to put it in slope-intercept form, because this is in standard form. So you got to know that line R, it says line R is perpendicular. Well, the perpendiculars are negative reciprocals, right? The slope of perpendiculars are always the negative reciprocals. So in this case, it would be the negative reciprocal of line P. If I rearrange line P, the equation, I would have 2y equals, I could do 9 minus 18x or negative 18x plus 9. It's easier on the eyes that way. And then I could do, well, if I want to isolate y, I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. So this gives me negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9x. So we have negative 9x plus 9 halves. All right, so this is my slope, but I got to find the slope of line R. So it is the negative reciprocal of negative 9 over 1. So that's, if I flip it, I have negative 1 over negative, positive 1, 9. So this is basic stuff. Numbers, what is it asking me in 17? It's giving me an exponential equation of some kind. They always ask for like population growth of some kind. So what is it asking me? It says, so they gave me this function, and it's telling me that at the end of the year, 0 is less than or equal to t, all right, which is less than or equal to 5. So it's asking me, what is the best interpretation of the y-intercept of the graph? Well, the y-intercept, when you're dealing with a problem like this, you have to set it equal to, this is going to give you f of t. So you want to set it equal to 0, right? In order for you to see like your starting point. So if t is equal, do I have room to write on here? Sort of. If t is equal to 0, I might have to use my scrap paper. If t is equal to 0, and any number, well, any number to the 0 exponent is automatically 1. So this 0.65 to the 0 is 1. 1 times 8,000 gives me 8,000. So let me see if from the choices, the minimum estimated number of coupons the company sent to during the 5 years was 1,428. No, there's no way I can get that from if I set t equal to 0, right? So that doesn't make sense. The minimum estimated number of coupons the company sent to their customers was 8,000. No, because it's telling us that the function models the number of coupons at the end of each year, right? So it doesn't really, this 8,000 doesn't really, and then I'm going to work backwards. D says the estimated number of coupons the company sent at the end of 19, that looks tempting because it told us at the end, since the end of 1998 in the problem. And then C says the estimated number of coupons at the end was 1,000. No, because if we set this equal to 0, it's not going to give you 1,428. So it has to be D, most likely. Unless I'm interpreting something wrong, but it has to be, I mean, it only makes sense to be D, right? Because it's talking about the coupons at the end, and it tells you the range here, 0 is less than or equal to. So and t is less than or equal to 5. Right. All right. What else have we got here? Number 18. Triangle XYZ is similar to triangle RST, such that X, Y, and Z correspond to R, S, and T respectively. So, well, the measure of angle Z is 20 degrees, and 2XY equals RS. What is the measure of angle T? Well, they told us that the measure of angle Z is 20. So this corresponds to T. Oh, are you kidding me? This is so easy. Corresponding angles are congruent. 20 degrees. Done. Oh no, I'm probably going to get a call soon. Let me see how much faster I can do this. Number 19. One of the equations in a system is in a system of two linear. Okay, so this represents a system. We're missing the other equation, basically. The system has no solution. Which equation? Okay, so you should know by now. If you don't, I'll tell you. City Tutoring will help you with this. 6x plus 18. Whenever you want to have no solution, the slope has to be exactly the same, but the intercept, so like this 18, it would have to be like something, for example, if I gave you 6x plus 18 equals 6x plus 3, this is no solution automatically. Why? Because the slopes here, they're parallels, but this part here is unequal. You can't say 18 is equal to 3, right? Because when you subtract the 6's from each other, you'd have 18 is equal to 3. So that makes that's a contradiction. We don't like contradiction, do we? That's a false statement. So I know it can't be automatically. I know, well, C and D don't make any sense, right? Because that's not the same slope. And the only thing that works here is if I try A, that would give me, if I solve for Y in A, that would give me 6x plus 18. So yeah, it has to be A, right? 6x plus 18. Nope, it can't be A because actually, if you get an equation that is the same, like 6x plus 18 equals 6x plus 18, you have infinity. But that's not what they're asking you here. They're not asking which equations give you infinity. They're asking which ones give you no solution. So yeah, it has to be B, because B is going to give you the same slope, but it's going to be 6x, y equals 6x, positive 6x, plus 22. And therefore, it has to be B. That's a pretty good question. I like that one. Let's see here. What do I have? Okay, so they gave us a system of equations here. The solution to the system of equation is xy. What is the value of x minus y? Well, if y is 4x plus 1, let's just substitute that. That's going to give me 4 parentheses, 4x plus 1 equals 15x minus 8. Okay, so then I distribute 16x plus 4. It's going to give me 15x minus 8. And then, let's see, if I bring, okay, so negative 8 minus 4 is going to give me negative 12. Negative 12, 16 minus 15 is 1. Negative 12 over 1 is negative 2. So x equals negative 12. You can even do that mentally if you know how to solve equations with the variables on both sides. And then you have negative 12 times, since this is the value of x, you substitute it to get the value of y. So that's going to give you on the top here, 4 times negative 12, which is negative 48, plus 1, which is going to give you negative 47. All right, so then we just subtract them. We have both of our values. We have negative 12 minus negative 47. Minus and a minus give you actually plus. So negative 12 plus 47, and that would give you your answer here. All right. Number 22. Number 22. Oh no, I realized I skipped. Sorry, I didn't realize there was number 20 on the bottom here. What is the area in square centimeters? Okay, the area of a rectangle. Oh, area of a rectangle is length times width. So that's 34 times 20. Times 29 rather, sorry, 29, not 20. So 4 times 9 is going to give me 36. So my last digit is going to be 6, and then I carry over. 3 times 4 is 12. So 986. 986, easy. Length times width. All right, number 22. How many distinct real solutions does the equation have? Okay, so this is a quadratic. And what they're expecting you to do, this is a good question, because this is asking about how many real solutions. So you look at something called the discriminant. Now, the discriminant is always in the quadratic formula, the part of the that is the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac, right? You should already know the quadratics are ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, right? So we're looking for the b. In this case, it would be 10. So that's going to give me 10. So a couple things to know. If the solution to the discriminant, right, if the value of the discriminant is positive, you have 2 real solutions. If the value is 0, you have 1 real solution. And if the value is negative, you have no real solutions, right? So let's have a look here. We have 10 squared. The value of b here is 10. So we have 10 squared minus 4 times a. A is 5. That's 4 times 5, 20. This is going to give me 100. 4 times 5 is 20, and then times 16. So 4 times 5, 20. 20 times 16, that's going to give me much greater than 100. That's going to be 320, is it? Approximately 320. And okay, so it's going to be a negative number. So you don't have solutions here. That's going to be 0. All right, I'm getting a phone call, I think, or someone's trying to catch my attention. I will do, let's see if I can do anything. So I'm going to do one where it doesn't require, like, I'm looking at 23. This one requires, first you're going to have to involve squaring it because it's square miles and then dividing it. So let me see if there's anything else interesting before I'll do one more because I'm pressed for time. All right, let's do the circle one. Which of the following equations represents a circle in the xy plane that intersects, so they want a circle that intersects the y-axis at exactly 1 point. Well, the equation of a circle, you should know, is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. All right? And the center of the circle is hk. Now, for the what they want here, really what they want here is that the x coordinate has to equal the radius for the condition that they ask, right? So the only way that that can happen is if one of these is equal to 16, the radius, right? So 8 squared, that's not going to give you the 16. So A and B are out. And then D doesn't make sense because it's also not going to give you this, so it has to be C. 4 squared, right? The square root is going to give you this radius squared here. So the x value or the h value here, it has to equal the radius. All right, so it is actually 932. And I started around 902, 903. Folks, this is not a hard test. This is not I don't know why. It could be. Now, I know some people have told me, they said, well, it's a practice test. It could be. It could be, but I mean, how different really is the real Module 2 going to be from their own practice test? So I would do the rest, but like I'm actually pressed for time as always. But I hope this was helpful to get you an idea of what areas they like to ask. If you need more assistance, we do offer at City Tutoring, of course, we offer SAT and ACT preparation as well. We also do GMAT, LSAT, all the stuff. But this is it. This is it. This is it. Much, much, much more straightforward than what I've seen in previous versions. Pretty soon I'll be sharing with you an exam I gave to my students. We'll go over that as well. But I'm not impressed, folks. I'm really not. And I still maintain, after seeing this, I still maintain what I said in my previous video about Module 1. The standards are slacking, and we are seeing a general decline in educational standards in this country. And I'm not pleased by that. I'm not happy about that. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. We'll see you in the next video.